Hello students, I am going to discuss a new question that has already come in 2024 of Indian society. This is a part of the series of the questions discussion that I have been doing on Indian society. So today what we see here, that question number 9, GS paper 1, Indian society, and it was of 10 marks. As you see the question, inter-caste marriages between castes which have socio-economic parity have increased to some extent, but this is less true of inter-religious marriages discussed. What the question is actually asking for? The question is saying that inter-caste marriages have increased in India, right? This is the first thing. But these inter-caste marriages are taking place taking into cognizance the socio-economic parity, or you can say equal social and economic status of the castes, right? But at the same time, inter-religious marriages are not taking place. That is, the marriages between boy and girl belonging to different religions, that is not taking place, and particularly this question is about Hindu and Muslim marriages, right? So we are going to discuss this question and we can see that what is the reason of it. First thing that we have to be very clear, and that is that these inter-caste marriages are not a rural phenomenon rather than an urban phenomenon. I'm not saying that inter-caste marriages are completely absent in rural area. They are present, but they are exceptional. Its volume is more in the urban areas, right? So whatever we are going to discuss, it is about the social configuration, residential configuration of the urban areas which is responsible for inter-caste marriages. Now, to understand the inter-caste marriages based on socio-economic parity, we have to first classify the Indian population, the Hindu population, into three broad categories, right? Particularly, this is in terms of Varna, right? As you see that there are three major categories, right? One is of twice born castes, that is also known as Dvija caste, and in this Dvij caste comes Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, right? Now the second category is non-Dvij, that is non-twice born caste, and this is of Shudra. And third category is that of Avarnas, outside the Varna system, that is generally it refers to the untouchable, the lowest in the social order. Now what you find that when you talk about inter-caste marriages, basically these three groups have social parity. We do not say economic parity, but they have social parity. Whatever inter-caste marriages are taking place in urban area, that is taking place within this group, right? So the inter-caste marriages that are taking place is between the caste of Brahmins, caste of Kshatriya and caste of Vaishyas, right? These three Varnas, they are adjacent to each other. They have to certain extent, or to a great extent, not certain extent, social parity with each other. So within this, inter-caste marriages are taking place. Now within Sudras there are many service class, right, which generally we call as backward caste or backward class today, the marriages are taking place between them. In certain cases, you will find that marriages are taking place between Dvija and non-Dvija, but its volume is very less. But generally, these castes, they don't marry with the Avarnas. The inter-caste marriages, Avarnas, they also constitute a number of castes. So marriages are taking place among them, that is among the castes belonging to Avarn category. In brief, what we say, the inter-caste marriages that is taking place in Indian society is first within Dvija, second within non-Dvija, and third within Avarnas. Inter-category marriages are very rare or less. To a certain extent, the marriage between these two categories are there, right? But these two marrying the Avarnas, this case is very, very, very less, almost non-existent. Now we come to this third slide, which we have already spoken. Each Varna is divided into numerous castes and subcastes. Major competition and conflict between adjacent castes. So they have competed with each other. There is a conflict, that is competition between the adjacent castes, right, in traditional Indian society. Now we come to the factors that are responsible for bridging the gap between these castes enjoying the equal social parity, right? For example, first is education. What does education do? Education liberates mind. It creates awareness, right? And therefore it increases resistance. So what happens when the dominant class, they get educated, their mindset liberates and they become more tolerant, right? Secondly, the discriminated caste or lower caste, when they get educated, their level of awareness, their rights as citizen increases and therefore they resist, right, the discrimination, right? So this way what happens? Discrimination goes down, resistance against discrimination it increases and tolerance increases. This has a diluting impact on the caste rigidity. Secondly, constitutional democracy. We have constitutional democracy. So in case the boy and girl belonging to different castes, they are marrying, particularly the adult boy and girls, then constitution comes into their protection, right? So they are generally victimized. Violence is resorted by the community member and the family member, but government, that is police, comes into their protection. So this is because of the constitutional provision. Third is urbanization, right? Urbanization generally breaks the informal relationship. Now, one of the most important characteristics of urban area is, or people living in urban area, is anonymity, right? They come from different areas, different communities, and therefore, and volume density of population is very high, therefore there exists a kind of anonymity. Secondly, the traditional informal social structure it breaks, right? Means what they were practicing in the rural area, that gets diluted, but what you find that this has impact on the residential pattern. If you see these factors, they have diluting impact on the caste rigidity, right? Now we come to the urban settlement pattern. If you see that urban area, urban areas are not characterized by caste segregation, but it is characterized by class segregation, right? People belonging to similar economic status, they reside in a particular area, right? Now if you see the relationship of class and caste in the urban area, you will find upper and upper middle class people, generally they belong to Dvijvarn, that is Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya. In certain cases you will find that Sudra caste who belong to Sudra Varn, they have also migrated to, they are also living, their economic status has improved, so they are living in this area. Second is lower middle class and upper class, upper lower class, lower middle class. This is based on the division that society is classified into upper class, lower upper class, upper middle class, lower middle class, then upper lower class and lower class. So in this way, lower middle class and upper lower class, that is mostly inhabited by non-Dvij or Sudra. Lower class, that is mainly inhabited by, that mainly constitutes of Avarnas, untouchables, right? So there is residential segregation. Now residential segregation reduces the opportunity of social interaction, right? So therefore the rigidity, the separation between them, it does not get diluted, right? So basically dilution of caste rigidity that occurs within these three categories, right? Now we come to the marriages that took place in the traditional society. Traditional society is characterized by caste endogamy. It is caste endogamous, but at the same time parity of class was always a relevant factor, right? So class had always been a strong factor for marriage, even in traditional caste society where caste endogamy was practiced. Under the changed condition, caste rigidity is diluting, but not class rigidity. So when we talk about socio-economic parity, here we are talking about economic parity that existed in traditional society and that is existing even today, right? Hence inter-caste marriages follows both Dvij status and socio-economic parity. So this is the reason that inter-caste marriages are taking place to certain extent, but socio-economic parity is evaluated, right? Now we come to the lack of marriage between different religious groups, means the members of different religious groups or inter-religious marriages. If you see, even in urban area, for certain regions or obvious reasons, there is residential segregation of the different religious groups. Muslims stay in certain areas, Hindus stay in certain areas, Christians stay in certain areas. So there is residential segregation. As I said, residential segregation reduces social interaction, and if social interaction gets reduced, mutual understanding does not develop and the rigidity does not get diluted. There is great cultural differences in terms of food habits, in terms of dressing pattern, language spoken and system of beliefs. For example, Muslims, they do not believe in idol worship. Hindus, they believe in idol worship. Muslims have a specific way, food habits, right? Whereas Hindus, they do not have that food habit, right? Hindus consider non-vegetarian food as polluting. Muslims, they do not consider non-vegetarian food as polluting. So there is great cultural differences, right? And this reducing these differences is very difficult. Then we have the memories of historical conflicts, polarization of society on religious ground. Our democracy is also responsible for that. That is, a democracy where masses are illiterate and poor, emotional issues become very important or very effective for political mobilization. Therefore, political polarization or polarization of society is being done by politicians to create vote bank, right? And that prevents interaction between the people, that creates distance between the people, and therefore the rigidity between two communities does not dilute, right? So these are the reasons responsible for not letting barriers break for inter-religious marriages, right? So based on these explanation, you can write the answer in 150 words, right, presented by me, that is Praveen Kishore, faculty sociology, GS Indian Society, right? My own institution is NICE IS. We are working in collaboration with IS Delhi Institute, right? So those who are interested in joining our classes, they can contact either NICE IS or IS Delhi Institute, right? Thank you.